Brunch culture.
We want to talk about faith. We want to talk about politics. We want to talk about race. We want to talk about pop culture. Literally, everything is up for discussion, and that's what brunch culture is about.
It's about a thing. Feel real good. Wave your hands in the air and lick 2 shots in the air.
Brunch culture. Brunch culture. Brunch culture.
What's going on, world? You are tuned into episode 38 of Brunch Culture. As always, I'm your boy, Randall Keith, and I'm joined by my lovely co-host, Miss Lisa Victoria.
What's up, world?
All right, y'all.
Today's main topic is...
the F word.
I don't know why it sounds like an intro to a movie or a game show.
Doom. F word.
Subtitle.
F you. I'm just playing.
I thought I had forgave you, but ...
But I found out that you got hit by a bus and I took a nap.
Not took a nap, though.
I was asleep because it didn't really matter that much. And
So forgiveness has always been a hot topic amongst people, because in relationships, at some point, you're going to have to forgive. Yeah,
That's what they say.
Unless you just break up every relationship that hurt you and just don't recover. You can never.
That's what they say. You're supposed to forgive. That's what they say.
Yeah, you're supposed to forgive. But I mean, you know, in this instance, sometimes we have a hard time. I think, like, someone said forgiveness is the hardest thing you'll ever have to do in your life. And I believe that's true. You think that's true, Randall?
Yeah, no. I think it is one of the hardest things that you'd have to do in your life.
And and sometimes when you don't have to see people, you think you forgave them. I know I do. If I don't have to see you, I'd be like, yeah, I forgave them. I love them. But sometimes when you have to see them or interact or somebody bring up their name, you get that feeling in your gut and your stomach just started turning. And you just like, oh, I really could punch them in the face right now.
Yeah, and I think sometimes it's not even, it's not even like I want to punch you in the face. It's just almost like this extreme disdain, like, but why? Like almost why you even exist, like I understand. You still here?
Why
Oh,
you
okay.
still here?
Yeah, like, okay. Like,
So, it's, yeah. I mean, and there are some signs, I think, when like, I thought I forgave you, but, I still post subliminal messages on social media about you. And I think this is more of a female thing than it is a male thing. Or I still like pictures, or I still like stuff on social media because I want you to see it so it'll come up in my notifications.
Yeah.
It goes real deep. Us females
That's
sometimes
real
be
deep.
real petty.
Yeah, that's real deep. I think it's crazy too, though, but because I feel like for guys, we have to probably even think about it more. We have to focus more on it because it's something that is something that can fly by, right? Something that we really don't think about. We don't know that we haven't forgiven somebody. We don't even know that we need to forgive somebody. Like, a certain offense is an issue, is a problem. We just exist, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, something can happen. We deal with it. We squash it. Whatever happened, we threw hands. We did what we did, and we move forward. And particularly when you're a guy that, is involved in things and have other things going on in your life, you're not sitting around thinking about harboring feelings or thinking about something that happened between somebody else. Like, once it's done, it's kind of done, and you start walking in the other direction. You're not really thinking about it. And I'll say for most guys too. I'm always like, hey, let's like not make a generalization about everything. So I'm not gonna say that every guy is like this, right? But I know for the most part, we kind of just let things go, or we think we let things go, and they really don't. We really haven't. I know for me, one of the biggest things, and probably the most pivotal moment in my life so far, was me realizing that, like, I had to forgive my dad, right? And I didn't know. I went to this church service, and I'll never forget. It was a church service on December 12th, 2007. And I'm sitting in a church service. There was a guest preacher. She was on stage and she was just, spewing fire, just going in. And it was about forgiveness, right?
Mhm.
Crazy. I start bawling like snot nose, can't talk, be shaking. Like went up to the altar. She like grabs my hand and she says, "It's okay. You can forgive him now," right? And I'm like, what you talking about? Like not getting it, but still at the time not thinking about what she's talking about. Not I don't get it. I just know that I'm extremely emotional in this moment and I don't get it. So I go to my car, I'm leave church, walk into my car, still crying, get in my car, and it just like hits me like you need to call your dad, right?
Mhm.
So I call my dad, my stepmom answers the phone, and I'm like, can I speak to my dad? And I'm like trying to hold it in. And she's like, what's wrong? She can hear my voice. My dad gets on the phone. I hear his voice and I just immediately start bawling. And I'm apologizing to him, telling him I'm sorry and I'm sorry for hating you. I'm sorry for being mad at you. I apologize. I forgive you. Will you forgive me? Like crazy stuff. And this legit, this is how I know. I tell people all the time, this is how I know God is real, right?
Mhm.
Because this ain't Randall. Randall don't do like Randall would have did none of that stuff. What? So number one, crying in public in front of a bunch of folk I don't know. Nah, cuz. Number two, calling to say like I'm sorry and please forgive me and I forgive you. Wait, what? Nah, that ain't happen. That's not me, right?
That's how you know it's real. That's how you know
I'm
it's a
talking
real
about it's
apology.
it's it's real because I'll be like, look, man. But anyway, so I'm talking to him, and it wasn't until he and I got the opportunity to spend one-on-one time together and have conversations, and I'm like pushing and pushing myself to talk about things that happened years ago, right?
Mhm.
So long ago that I thought that I was good, and these things are coming out, and I'm emotional about it, but I'm telling him like I'm sorry and I forgive you, and I realize that I have to forgive him. A lot of this stuff I've been, at that time, I was 21. I didn't think about anything, right? I didn't
Mhm.
know that I thought I was good. I didn't know how this impacted other relationships. I didn't know how this impacted friendships. I didn't know how this impacted my relationship with my mom. Like none of this stuff was ever at the forefront of my mind because I feel like a part of my male makeup is very, it happened, you deal with it and you keep it moving, right?
Uh huh.
And I think that mentality, that rhetoric sometimes sets us up to kind of be in a real tough spot, be in a real tough spot in a real tough situation because you could be dealing with something or something that can be affecting you that you don't even know that you need to deal with. So I think for dudes, like we kind of got to be more mindful, right? I think that's the beauty of having women that kind of come around or people that come around that a little more in tune with emotions, in tune with telling you that it's okay to feel and okay to have emotions and express emotions that can tell you like walk you through how to deal with that. Because for the most part, I think, and tell me if I'm wrong, fellas, but I think for the average guy, we just really don't think about, I need to forgive somebody. It's like forgive somebody for what? Like if you maybe unless you did something extreme like you killed a family member or something like that, for the most part,
Dang, you gotta
like
kill a family
I
member.
yeah, like that's probably the only thing I'll be thinking like, dang, I might need to forgive them. Like if you kill a family member, then I go to church and the pastor preached specifically about forgiving somebody after they killed your family member. Other than that, like I ain't thinking about that, bro. Like, it's
Yeah.
yeah, I don't think it's that
I
at the
think for
forefront in our
females, but I
minds.
think that in a different way, I think for females, what you don't forgive is, or and males and females, what we don't forgive affects our relationships. So we
Mm-hmm.
take out on our present relationships stuff we haven't dealt with in our past.
True.
So a lot of how we develop happens in our family life. So like you said, you didn't even know like the fact that you haven't hadn't forgiven your father affected your present relationships. And
Right.
sometimes if we haven't forgiven in the past, we take out different things on different people that it really has nothing to do with, or what they did is like they picked a wound that you haven't really dealt with. So what they did wasn't really that bad, but because it was attached to a memory that you haven't dealt with, is like magnifies, and now you're mad at them for something they really don't really understand why you're so angry, and really it's just bringing you back to something else that you never dealt with in your past. And
Right.
but I think, and that's why we have to forgive. That's why we have to let it go, because we don't want to live like that, because that's a toxic way to live. It's toxic to live in your emotions all the time, or to live in these negative things. And we realize it, like I said, when we're posting stuff, or when we see them and that feeling comes and we don't want to deal with it. Or what's a real telling way that you haven't forgiven is if
What's that?
somebody comes and like, man, such and such is so great, and that's the person that hurt you, and you throw shade on them, like
You laugh.
you,
You laugh. Ha ha ha
they be
ha.
like,
I
oh,
bet they
them,
are great.
they great, and then you like, Chaba.
All right.
Oh, you don't want to say nothing, so you just say, okay, that's what's up, man. I'm glad,
Yeah.
I'm glad you know him in a different way than I do.
Yeah, I'm a fan of the smiling nod. Sometimes you just have to smile and nod. Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
That's the, yeah.
So if you
Let's keep
throwing
it moving.
shade at them on social media, or if you throwing shade at them subliminally, or don't really want to say too much about them, or or if you feel the need to have to tell everybody what they did to you probably haven't forgiven them.
Yeah. And I think it's, you know what? I think it's all right. I think it's all right to not forgive for a certain time period, right? I think, and I say that on the whim of, look, it's not realistic for you to offend me today and me to forgive you tomorrow. That's not realistic. I need time to process. I need time to like figure out, to think on this thing, to get through how I feel, to really be angry. I was talking to a friend of mine not too long ago, and I was telling her that she is always the person to take the high road. And I think you rob yourself of your ability to be human when you want to do that, because at some point in time, you probably going to explode because you feel like you always got to be the person that's, being the bigger person. You always got to be the person that's doing it the right way. And all these people keep offending you, keep hurting you. It's realistic to say, hey, I need a minute. I ain't trying to talk to you. I want to go off. I want to, punch a wall. And I'm not saying, punch tap the furniture, like you gotta pay for it. So don't be crazy. But like I think it's okay for you to say that I'm angry in this moment and I want to get this anger and frustration out. That's a process of healing. So you can say, hey, I forgive you. But if you never actually deal with that and you take this, oh no, I'm just gonna forgive you tomorrow because I know that I have to be the bigger person. Man, that crap ain't real. That's fake. And them the people that end up going off the handle and doing something real crazy. Then folk be on the news trying to find bodies because you ain't never dealt with your feelings. Like, yo, give yourself time. If you angry, you don't want to forgive. Hey, don't forgive them. Keep moving. Like, tell them to kick rocks with no
I
socks.
think
They'll be all right.
June Hunt said something. She said, don't forgive too quickly until you feel the emotions, until you allow yourself to feel the level of hurt. Make sure you
Yeah.
assess like how deep this hurt, so you'll
What's
know
her
how
name?
much you have to forgive.
Say her name, June Hunt. I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to holler at June Hunt. She does my kind of thinking. Cuss him out.
No,
Forgive
she
him
ain't say
later.
cuss him out. She
She ain't say
said
that.
just process the level of hurt.
Well, part of the process, so what she meant to say was
Oh, okay.
a part of processing is cussing them out, and then you might have to, slap them a couple times, use the back of your hand. We ain't gonna say on air what that's called, but you know it. If you know what that is, yeah, the back of your hand is, it's a way to like relieve stress and then disrespect them in the same time, but being respectful enough that you ain't like cup them. You just gave them the back of your hand, and it just make you feel good. So that's what she was saying. Process it.
Okay,
'Cause
that's what she was saying. I missed that
that's
part in the book.
you look here. You don't be reading. You don't be reading the right parts. I'm telling you, this was in the annotated notes part.
She said post something about how she said post subliminal messages on social media too.
Well, nah, she ain't really say that. She just said just cuss him out though, because back then when she was working on this book, social media wasn't that big.
Mhm.
So yeah, she had been working on this for some years. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So for all y'all people who keep posting memes that say um they didn't deserve you, Cause they hurt you.
Lord.
You probably haven't let that go. Oh,
Yeah. We gotta hit you with the good old fashioned I. Yo, I will save your life. This has got me into a lot of trouble with people. I'm just telling you, yo. When you don't want to go that, just be like, I. Just hit them with the I. You know, that's good. It's an empowering word, and that's IGHT. I
hmm.
IGHT. That's look here. It's gonna change your life. It'll revolutionize your
So what?
relationship.
How do you
Tell it.
use it? When what instance are you using this I?
So somebody might say something like, sometimes you know how you get them long behind text messages. They be like a thesis statement in a text message, and it's all about I feel, I feel, I feel, I feel, I don't want, 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 and then at the end up say, all right,
See,
just solve the
that's how
problem.
you piss somebody off. Don't do that, y'all. Oh, that takes me back. I can't go back, Randall. I'm trying to stay in the present. I can't go back.
Don't go back. Come on, Lisa. Come on. Come back. Come back. 2015. 2015.
That's the worst thing you can do is somebody send you something long and then you just send them back like a I, a okay. That's why you need to talk to people verbally when you arguing with them. I can't
Oh,
stand that.
Lord.
Huh?
Oh Lord, I think it's okay to do it through text message because you can document stuff and you can hit people with what they said. Because sometimes people get amnesia and forget, and so when you want to forgive them, and then you trying to like make sure that they recall everything that happened, and they be like, "Well, I ain't say that, I ain't say that." But if you got it in text, look here, you
Screenshot.
ref, yeah, you go back and you reference this thing. You know this. You pull up your documents and you say, "All right, well, on this day you said, and then you said, and then you said." Then they be like,
You know what?
"Oh,
I have a solution.
what's that?"
You know, Apple on the text messaging, the voice message things you can send
And you can save them.
and you can save them.
Yep.
So that
And
way you could be documented and verbal.
they well no they can't. I was gonna say they could be subpoenaed in court, but I don't think iMessage can be subpoenaed in court. But you got the audio,
I
so
mean,
you know
what
what
kind of
to say.
stuff are you sending them now? I mean, I don't think nothing is gonna be said. They gotta go to court.
Well, let's keep going, Lisa. We gotta talk.
But just know, you guys, that if you gotta forgive, but something else we want to leave you with too is everything we believe is forgivable, but everything may not be reconcilable. So you might not be able to reconcile with the person, and that's
Yeah,
something I'm really big on right now. Everything is forgivable, but everything reconcilable. Some things you be like, all right, deuces. But I
I'm
think you
still
should
struggling.
decide what's reconcilable after you forgiven, then, because when you haven't forgiven, everything is going to be through the lens of your bitterness and unforgiveness. So you're
Nah, you
waiting.
gonna be when you wait. Then you become soft. Look here. This what you say, right? On the front end, y'all before you get to all this forgiveness and stuff. This person done showed you who they are, who they want to be, and what they ain't gonna do, right?
Mhm.
So you say, look here, let me assess who you are in the thick of it before I get to the other side and I start pacifying the situation and making excuses for you, and I find myself right in the same situation. Nah, cuz this is what we gonna do.
So you got to stay hard to make the decision about reconciliation. I think you should wait till after
Yes,
though. I don't think
you
you
can be
should.
smart. You know, you had it's
No, I
smart,
I don't think
hard,
cuz you in
smart, hard,
emotions.
smart,
You in
hard. You see how you
emotions.
saying? Nah, that ain't emotion. No, no, no,
You,
no, no, no.
y
We ain't thinking
that is
emotion. We
emotions.
logic. When you go to that forgiveness stuff, you been heard a good old sermon that one of your friends done sent you and told you to listen to, and they be wanting you to be soft and be like, oh, well, you know what? God
I
forgave
like
me,
how
so
you like to throw shade on the
yeah,
fact that I
and
sent you a
just
forgiveness sermon that you have yet to listen
God
to,
told
but
you.
it's from your own church.
No, I started listening to it, but it's not my fault that God set things up that I had to be away on travel for work. So I just missed the whole series. That's like
You
not my
missed the
fault.
series at your church, but then I sent you the link so you could watch it.
And I'm gonna watch it. But in this season of my life, uh I'm just I've been working and I've been traveling for work, and when I went to go listen to it, the Wi-Fi in the hotel wasn't, it wouldn't let it play
But you
all the
got
time. And so
AT&T.
then
It's a YouTube clip.
But my AT&T, my data gets throttled after a while, so I can't
Oh,
use
okay.
up all my
Cause I
data on the
listened to
front.
it while I was traveling on vacation the other last week, and I
But
didn't have, and I
my
got
data
AT and
get
T
throttled.
too.
But my data get throttled
Mine
after.
too. Mine was real slow, but it let
But you
me do that. It
you
did-
stay
it
in
went to
Florida.
audio only.
You stay in Florida, and in Florida, the data the cell towers work a little bit better
Oh,
than where
okay.
I'm
Okay,
traveling at
cool. I
work.
mean, I'm gonna
Yeah.
let you have
So
it.
yeah.
I'm gonna let you have that one. But as we say, Randall is gonna start forgiving people and reconciling with them. He doesn't know yet, but we're talking through it in
I do
stages.
forgive people. I forgave them. That's why when I walked out the door, I forgave you. When I turned around and said, "Hey, it's all good." When I hit you with that "I," that's forgiveness right there.
That's bitterness and I think.
Nah, you can't get "I" out of bitterness. You can't spell the word bitterness. Now spell "I." You can't
Boy,
get that out.
you're stupid.
They don't come out. You can't pull "I" out of bitterness. It ain't possible. I'm just saying.
Well, we all have our bouts. I have my own personal bouts with forgiveness and reconciliation, but I'm working through it.
I'm working
And
on mine too. All
Randall,
right.
I think our process look different. Yours kind of not. It seemed like you're not going in the direction of working through it.
What direction it seems like I'm going in? I think I'm going through the direction.
You are?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's a bunch of if you look at the map, it's a bunch of different directions you can go in. If you look at a compass, it's a lot of different directions, right?
Uh huh.
And since the world is round,
Mhm.
you gonna end up getting to the place that you need to go to. You just might not take the direction that somebody else take. Now you better now wait a minute. Now get your notes out because I'm about to
Okay,
start
because it's
preaching
many
here.
ways to
Well, 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 well,
it's
well,
many
well,
ways
well,
to downtown DC, huh? You
well,
can
well,
take the
well. It's a
three
lot of ways.
395,
Hey, 495. Hey, 66.
295,
Look here, you can take Route 200. It's a lot of ways that you can get
the
there. Check this
Beltway.
out. Look here, it's a lot of ways. Now you can get on the metro, you can walk, you can take a
Well, you're
bike.
right. You know what? Our process don't have to be the same.
They don't have to be the same. Hey, but they all get you to the same place. Now you better watch this.
Yeah.
You're not
So I
look.
mean, I'm not,
I'm
I'm
about
not,
to
I'm not
apply,
all the way there. So I'm not gonna judge yours.
I'm about
Lord
to
knows
apply
I
the
need
sem-
my own help. You said
I'm about
what?
to apply the seminary. You just heard that word I just gave you.
You about to do what in seminary?
I'm about to apply the seminary. You heard that word I just
You
gave you?
should go.
Nah, they're gonna be sending me sermons about forgiveness too. Let's
So we hope that from our banter that you have got something about forgiveness in this brunch culture podcast.